Yo, what's up? This is Taz Golden, and you are now watching Analogue Culture.
Uncle. Hi Taz, how's it?
I'm easy. Are you good, Endo?
Yeah, I'm alright, brother. I'm alright.
I'm chilled. I'm chilled.
Like, it's quite interesting. We've been sitting here trying to get the camera for a minute. now.
But we had a good conversation, though.
Great conversation, man. But it's good now. Everything is running, and we can get some of these stories on record for the show. Welcome to Analogue Culture. Is this your first time in Cape Town?
Yes, it is.
Welcome
It's
to
my
Cape
first time
Town.
in Cape Town. Thank you so much, and it's been amazing.
Yeah,
I enjoyed myself.
I can imagine. Well, this show basically is for us to get to know the people on the other side of the decks, because literally we would know you from your music and what you deliver.
Yes.
But this is where we get to understand who Taz is in actual fact. Originally you're from Joburg?
Yes, I'm originally from Joburg.
Where about?
Born in Klipspruit West, just next to Eldo's.
Next to Eldos.
Yes.
All right. How's growing up? Let's start with what influenced you to decide you're gonna flow in the direction of deep house growing up in Klipspruit.
I think I was born with it because my whole life I was into music, right?
Yeah.
And I was 6 or 7 and I wanted a set of drums. And my grandfather was like, hell no, I ain't buying you a set of drums, you're gonna make a noise. And I got a keyboard instead.
Yeah.
And I just hated it because I didn't want a keyboard, I wanted a set of drums. You
Yeah.
know? So I avoided going to keyboard lessons. Every week when it was time for keyboard lessons, I would dodge, you know?
Yeah.
And then I started listening to a lot of music in my house because my grandmother had a shebeen.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So there's always music playing in the house. And sometimes when we have family over, they would ask you like, hey bro, can you change one of the LPs? Take out that one, play that one, you know?
Yeah.
And I started knowing all these songs because my grandfather would say, go play Brook Benton. And I would go take out Brook Benton and play that record, you know?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I started liking the music that I'm listening to now.
Yeah.
And it just evolved, you know? And I think at the age of 10, I was in grade 4, I was listening to radio. And at that point in time, I liked the sound, but I had no idea what it was called, you know?
Yeah.
And I found out it's called house music.
Yeah.
You know, and this is in 1998. I'm actually revealing my age right now. And in 1998, I'm like, this is what I want to do. Because
Yeah.
radio started playing more of this sound now that
Yeah.
I've been introduced to my whole life. Because my uncle bought CDs and we had like strictly rhythm compilations and stuff at home, and I would listen to it, but I had no idea it's called house music.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
when radio started playing it, and I was into radio because, you know, we never had PlayStations growing up, you know, that's 1998, no PlayStation, you only have a video game and you can only play it at a certain time, you
Yeah,
know, because people need to watch Days of Our Lives and all of that, so
Of
you can
course.
only play your video game at some point, you know.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, this is what I want to do.
Yeah.
I want to be on radio.
Who are you listening to on radio at that time, and what stations are?
I think I can't remember which station exactly it was,
Yeah.
but I remember I used to channel hop a lot.
Yeah.
You
yeah,
know,
yeah.
from one station to the next station, from the next station, because if they're having a boring discussion here, I'm like, I'm moving on to the next radio station now, you
Yeah,
know.
yeah.
But one day I was listening to radio and they had so much fun, you know.
Yeah.
They were laughing, they were just having fun in the studio, and I'm like, these people are at work, they playing the music I like, and they're having fun.
Yeah.
I want to do this
Yeah. Yeah.
as a job. I want to be on radio. I want to be a radio DJ and I want to be a club DJ, because on radio they would always advertise like, yo, catch this DJ at this specific club, you know. And
Yeah,
I'm like, so
yeah.
these guys are on radio and they're doing clubs and they're playing house music. I want to do this.
Yeah.
And I just kept on believing that one day I would be a DJ.
Yeah.
You know, so from the age of 10, I actually manifested my career until I matriculated, because my grandparents were like anti-music. They're like, you cannot go to a music school You need to go to a normal school like everybody else.
Yeah.
And only after you matriculated, now you can move into what you want to do. So I was literally forced into going to a normal school like everybody else. And I hated school. Like, I'm going to say this. I hated school because they teach you stuff that I'm not interested in. Because I knew that I want to do radio. I want to do music related stuff. So the stuff at school was just boring.
Yeah.
Like every day you wake up, I must go and I must do 1, 2, 3 because I'm forced to do it. And I think that's basically where the journey started in 1998, 10 years old, loving radio, loving the sound, which was house music.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this is what I want to do. I want to be a DJ.
All right. Post-matric now, what did you do to propel the career into music?
So after I matriculated, I took a gap year. And I'm like, my gap year is basically for me just to relax. Because I've been at school for 12 years.
Yeah.
12 years of torture. I want to take a gap year. And in my gap year, I'll figure out what I want to do now. How am I going to get into being a DJ? And during my gap year, I decided, no, I want to volunteer for a year. And I joined City South Africa.
Okay.
So I joined City South Africa. And we were like 200 service leaders who volunteered their time for service in the city. So we volunteered and we did community work, right?
Okay.
Transforming disadvantaged communities with our community work. We worked in schools, we had after school programs, and we also did community projects in communities that we were placed in.
Yeah.
So I did that for a year, volunteered, and I served 1,600 hours of community service. And while I was serving, I also started doing my research now on where I'm going to go to after this now.
Okay.
Because I knew that this will only be for a year. And then after a year, what am I going to do? So I enrolled for a DJ 101 at Soul Candy.
Okay.
And I'm like, okay, the next following year, 2009, I'm going to go to Soul Candy. I'm going to do my DJ 101. And I'm going to become a DJ now.
Yeah.
So I started going to Soul Candy. I did my first month. And I'm like, I still have another month to go, but I don't have money.
Yeah.
You know, what am I going to do now? You're in a situation, dog. Like, you have the money to pay the fees, but what's going to happen afterwards?
Yeah.
And I'm like, nope, I'm not going to complete my DJing course at Soul Candy because I already know the basics now of how to DJ and stuff. Let me take this money that I have. Let me get myself a pouch, a CD pouch.
Yeah.
Get myself some CDs. And I'm going to become a DJ now.
Okay.
And I went to A1 Sounds in Johannesburg. I got myself headphones, a pouch, and some blank CDs.
Okay.
And I started burning CDs. I'm like, now I'm officially a DJ.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I started DJing at baby showers.
Yeah.
I became a baby shower DJ with some friends of mine. I'm talking, doing baby showers. At some point, bro, I was so sick and tired of biryani. Because every baby shower I did, they feeding me biryani, and I'm like, I'm tired of biryani. Not again, biryani again. I'm tired of this. And then my first gig as Taz Golden, a friend of mine who was also part of City South Africa, Samantha, she turned 21, and she's like, bro, I want you to come and DJ at my birthday party. And I'm like, me? She's like, yeah, and I'm paying you.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay. So now I'm a professional because I'm getting paid now, you know.
For what you do.
I rocked up. I played her 21st birthday party, and that was my first gig as Taz Golden now in 2000.
How much did you get paid?
She offered me 500, right?
Okay.
And I'm like, 500 is cool.
Yeah.
And she's like, no, but I can actually do 1,000 because you need transportation and all that. I'm like, fine. And $1,000 16 years ago was a lot of money, bro.
A lot of money.
I actually played like with house speakers. A friend of mine had the Stenton C500s.
Yeah.
And he hooked up his Stenton C500s. We had a few house speakers. And I played a party and it was cool.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, so now I'm a professional because now I'm getting paid to
Yeah.
do this DJing thing.
Yeah.
And I literally just moved and carried on doing it.
Okay.
Because the passion was there, you know. And even though I never got paid for certain gigs, I would still rock up and play because I just wanted to play.
Yeah.
That's it. I just wanted to play house music.
Yeah.
And eventually it came to a point where I'm like, okay, so now this needs to be a business now. Taz.
Yeah.
You know, how are you gonna shape it into a business and become a brand? Because you need to do this as a business now. And I started looking at other DJs, you know, like the big DJs that were in the scene, like your DJ Fresh, your Fanny Da Vinci's, your DJ Christos. And I did some research on a lot of things, you know, the house culture, where house music started, because I'm like, if you want to be a DJ, you need to understand where it started. You know, you cannot say you're a DJ but you don't know the history of it. And I started doing research. I'm on Google every single day. I'm reading up on Frankie Knuckles and your Larry Heard and everybody else in the Chicago scene where the music actually started. And I'm like, okay, so if these bros started house music, how are you gonna take it further? And I just evolved and equipped myself, because I firmly believe that you need to learn before you earn.
Yeah, you were telling me about researching Frankie Knuckles.
Yeah, so I did my research, and I'm reading up on a lot of things, where house music started, when it started, how it was started, you know, and knowing the history of house music actually shaped me into where I am now. You know, because I understood the fundamentals of house music, the different sub-genres of house music, you know, because I firmly believe that I play house, and I won't say I'm a deep house DJ, I'm a soulful house DJ, I'm a tech house DJ. I play house because if I like it, I'm gonna play it. It might be soulful house, I like it, I'm playing it. It might be deep house, if I like it, I'm playing it. You know, and I'm like, no, I just wanna be a house DJ. I don't wanna be in a specific box and in a niche whereby I'm referred to as a deep house DJ, because if people know that you're a deep house DJ, what if they want you to play a bit of soulful house? So that's why I said I just want to be a house DJ, you know. And that was amazing. Just reading up on all of that also shaped me a lot, you know, because it opened up my mind to so much. And like I said earlier on, I firmly believe that you need to learn before you earn.
So now you're DJing around. Did you ever go back to Soul Candy?
Nope. I actually wanted to go back to Soul Candy for my music production. But then again, finances was always an issue for me, because I strongly believe that if I want something done, I need to finance that. Because I strongly believe that I don't want anybody else to say it's because of me that you have what you have right now. You know, I want to work for what I have, and knowing that I'm gonna appreciate it so much more, knowing that I worked for it. And it never came on a silver platter. You know. But I think we'll get to that part. But I never went back to Soul Candy for my music production. I can actually mention it now. I actually went back to Soul Candy, which was last year when I dropped my compilation on Soul Candy, which was also amazing for me to see that after so many years, I started out as a DJ, and my plan was always to do DJing, radio, and drop compilations, because compilations actually introduced me to so many artists. You know, because I grew up in a compilation era. I mentioned earlier on that my uncle used to have strictly rhythm compilations, Bump 21, and what people never understood, like those Bump CDs had bangers on it. You know, I don't like using this term, but people refer to it as white music. You know, and I'm like, no, bro. If you actually listen to that compilations, there are some bangers. Because there's this one song I actually discovered on one of those compilations, King of My Castle. Must be the reason why I'm king of my castle. And I'm like, this is a banger, you know. So I discovered so many DJs, producers from compilations. I realized that I want to do compilations one day. And last year I did my first compilation, and it's out on Soul Candy. And now I'm back as Soul Candy. You know?
I just wanted to say about that song, King of My Castle. One of the things that got that song for the whole country generally to love that song more was there was a 45 version of the track. I can't remember if Glenn Lewis put it on one of his mid-tempos, but on one of the 45 albums that was out, I think it was BPM 45 or something, the track was there, it did wonders there, and that's when people started picking up on the track on its other versions, the faster ones and everything else. But yeah, that was a bang of a track.
Yes.
It still is.
It still is.
It still is. How then? I think before I get to the compilation side of things, I want to start with the radio side of things. How did you radio, or how did you get into radio?
Yo, this is an interesting story, right?
Yeah.
So, I did my first year media studies, and during my first year,
Wait. Now you just jumped out of Soul Candy Institute, right?
yes,
You're DJing and you're doing gigs. You're doing partial paid gigs and you're doing non-paid gigs.
Yes.
Right. When do you do media studies first?
when I started with my media studies,
Yeah. When did you start with your media studies?
that was in 2014.
2014.
So-
That's before radio now.
Yeah, that's before I got into radio. I
Okay,
started my media studies, and during my first year, I'm like, dog, you won't be able to come back next year because this is expensive. You're already spending a car's money on your first year.
Yeah.
You won't be able to come back. What's your plan now? What are you gonna do?
Yeah.
So during my first year at Boston Media House, I actually produced a radio show
Okay.
called House Essentials as an idea, as a concept that I would like to do after my first year.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I produced the show. I had everything on paper, my hot clocks and everything. I went to our community radio station, Ndo-C FM. Massive shout out to Ndo-C FM.
Yeah.
So I went to Ndo-C FM. This is also very interesting. The station manager at that point was Ashley Souls.
Okay.
And Ashley Souls is now part of the PA, known as Ombiza.
Okay.
Right? And
Okay.
he was the station manager at Ndo-C FM. So I rocked up at the station. They're like, no, the station manager's here, you can go see him.
Yeah.
And I walked into his office. Now I'm a creative, right? And I have my stuff on paper. My hot clock is here. I have a whole 3-hour show planned out. And it's written. It's
Yeah.
not even typed out. It's written. And I have a good handwriting.
Yeah.
So my stuff is on paper and I'm introducing myself. I'm letting him know what my show is all about. And this is what I want to do. And Ombiza said to me, yo bro, no.
You?
This is dear mekaar. I don't know what's happening here, you know. And yo, my heart was broken, like literally broken. I'm like, yo, I thought this is the best concept ever,
Yeah.
and my dreams are just shattered now.
Yeah.
This guy says no, and I'm like, no, I'm not taking this as a no. I'm leaving this as it is,
Yeah.
and it's gonna work for me. To my surprise, a few months later,
Yeah.
there was a new station manager at Ndo-C FM.
Okay.
A new station manager at Ndo-C FM. I get a call like, yo bro, there's a new station manager at Ndo-C FM. Don't you want to pull up and meet the new station manager? I'm like, yeah, I can do that.
Yeah.
Bro, I literally took the same concept, House Essentials.
Yeah.
The same papers I had with my first meeting with Ombiza.
Yeah.
I had my stuff. I went to the radio station, got there. I met L'Oreal Ferris, who was the station manager. She's still the station manager at Ndo-C FM.
Yeah.
And she liked everything. She
Yeah.
said to me, bro, you even have a hot clock.
Yeah.
You know, like you understand radio. And this is only my first year's knowledge.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know,
yeah.
that allowed me to actually produce my show in that way.
Yeah.
Because I had my first year's knowledge. She's like, no, I like it. Unfortunately, we cannot give you a slot right now because we don't have a slot available for you.
Okay.
Again, I feel like, yo, I'm demotivated now. What am I gonna do now? I'm like, okay, can I be your music compiler?
Yeah.
She's like, music compiler? I'm like, yeah, I know you don't have a music compiler.
Yeah.
She's like, how do you know we don't have a music compiler? I'm like, because in the week, I called the station and I asked if I could speak to your music compiler.
Yeah.
And they say there's no music compiler. So can I be the music compiler? She's like, okay, you can do the music compiling.
Okay.
I started at the radio station volunteering as a music compiler, did the music compiling, but I knew that I wanted to have a show.
Yes.
I want to be on air. I want to do House Essentials.
Yeah.
So the slot I was running for was a Saturday slot 6 to 9.
Yeah.
And I used to listen to that show every single week, religiously tune into Ndo-C FM every Saturday, just before 6, so that I can hear what the guy is doing on that show because I want the slot.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And to my surprise, there's no one.
There's no one in a sense that there's no DJ for that.
Yeah, there's no one. He is there,
Yeah.
but he's not on air.
Okay.
You know, and I hear there's always music just playing.
Yeah.
And every time I'm tuned in, I would then phone the station manager and be like, yo, there's just music playing.
Yeah.
Where's this guy that's supposed to be on air?
Yeah.
Because I've been listening to 5 songs now. No ads, no nothing. And I know ads is supposed to play 10 past. There's no ads playing. There's just music playing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Where's this guy? She's like, no, he's sick. He's off sick, but he's gonna be back next week. Few weeks went by, and every other week this dude is never there.
Yeah.
At some point she also got tired of me phoning her every week, like, hey, this guy's not
there.
Like, you can give me the slot because I'm available.
Yeah.
And then one day I came to the station and she's like, bro, you're starting next week Saturday.
Nice.
Your show is gonna be on Saturday. I'm like, really? She's like, yeah. And to my surprise, it was the 4th of July.
Yeah.
Right, when I started my first show on Ndo-C FM. And I'm like, yo, it's in America, it's Independence Day,
Yeah.
freedom, and yeah, I'm getting my freedom to be on air now.
Yeah. Yeah.
I went in, did my first show, and it was, I won't say horrible, but it was horrible to me.
It was the first
right?
show, yeah.
Because I had the training and everything, I knew how the desk operates and everything, the playout system and all that. But what they did, I don't know if it was planned, but they left me alone at the station.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I was alone in the studio. No technical support, nothing.
Jesus.
So whatever happens, dude, you need to sort it out.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm nervous. I played the first song, played the second song, jumped into ads. I had a little bit of a glitch, and she called the station manager phone.
Yeah.
While the glitch is
happening,
she called. I'm like, oh, what the... I took the phone, I answered the phone. She's like, relax, what's happening? Because there's dead air. I'm like, no, I don't know what happened, but I played a song and the song is playing now. She's like, no, relax, you're doing good.
Yeah.
You'll be okay.
Yeah.
It's your first show, just relax.
Yeah.
You know, I think it took me about 4 or 5 shows before I got the hang of things, of how to flow. Because remember, everything is now on a script.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
and I want to make it sound as if I'm not reading from a script,
Yeah.
but I'm still reading, and I'm live here, I'm nervous. So after 5, 6 shows, I became comfortable.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I'm like, okay, now I'm comfortable. I know what to do because everything is pre-planned. I know what music I need to play. I know who's my interviews, what's happening, and I became comfortable. I think I did over 117 episodes of House Essentials.
Wow. Of 3 hours now.
Yeah, this is 3 hours every Friday, every Saturday. So I went from a Saturday show, and then they moved me to Friday.
Okay.
Friday 6 to 9. And I'm like, Fridays are even better because now I can still gig on a Saturday.
Yeah,
I can
yeah.
still go out and gig on a Saturday.
Yeah, yeah.
So from the Saturday show, they moved me to Friday 6 to 9. And I did House Essentials, over 117 episodes of House Essentials. And during that time, I also did a health show with Dr. Markwe
Yeah.
on a Monday. And then on a Tuesday, no, it was on a Tuesday I did the health show, and on a Wednesday I did Ladies of the Law,
Okay.
which was a legal show with Lizelle Pringle and Diane Peters.
Yeah.
You know, and I did 3 shows, produced all 3 shows, hosted all 3 shows, and I'm like, this is exactly where I want to be, because
Yeah, yeah.
I'm passionate about it, you know.
Yeah.
It doesn't even feel like work.
Yeah.
Because doing the research and all that, it's part of what I like.
Yeah, yeah.
Earlier on I mentioned that I did research on the DJing stuff, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
And I started doing the radio thing and I loved it, you know. And earlier on I this was before we started recording, I mentioned that my life took like a whole 180 turn when I had a little bit of a setback on Ndo-C FM, where I had like this crazy stalker that wanted to assassinate us, you know. And that's when I joined the Urban Beat team on Metro FM. I gave Uncle Vinny a call and I'm like, yo, Uncle Vinny, this is my situation right now. Can I volunteer?
Shout out to Uncle Vinny, by the way.
Massive shout out. That uncle is the uncle of that's like the father of house. He's everybody's father, you know.
Yeah, he's godfather status now.
And Uncle Vinny's like, so what do you want to do? I'm like, no, can I volunteer on your show?
Yeah.
This is my situation currently. I'm off air. I cannot be on air because of X, Y, and Z. So can I volunteer? The same way I'm volunteering at the community radio station, can I volunteer on your show and do whatever you need me to do on your show? He's like, I'll hook it up for you. Weeks went by because he's a busy guy. He forgets, But like I did with the station manager, I would phone him as well, like just a reminder, Uncle Vanny, please don't forget about me. And then one specific Friday is like, yo, go to the station. I spoke to Lou. You need to meet up with Lou, and then you guys will handle everything once you get there.
Yeah.
I get to Metro FM. I'm early because like the show starts at 10. I'm there by 9 already because like I need to be on point.
Yeah.
I met up with Lou. Lou's like, bro, what do you want to do? I'm like, I can even make coffee for you. If you want me to make coffee for you, I can do that for you.
Yeah.
Whatever you need, I'm here for that. He's like, no, Uncle Vanny said you're going to do content for us.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, I'll do the content. Started doing the interviews, hooked up interviews. I also did the administration of the mixes, the guest mixes that came through for the show. And to my surprise, Uncle Vanny mentioned my name to Christos.
Yeah.
And while I was volunteering at Metro, Christos offered me a job.
Yeah.
And I started working for him now. And I'm like, okay, I'm on the right path now, because now at least I'm getting a little bit of money. I'm getting paid, because I have a job now and I'm volunteering on the station. And I started working for Christos, and I did his bookings. I was also road manager and started working as a teammate for the Deep Soul Sensation and the Dance Music Summit. So I was involved in everything DJ Christos, and I learned so much from DJ Christos. That's like my father, because I actually learned so much, and I literally became a good DJ 3 years ago.
Yeah.
Even though I've been playing for like 16 years now, 3 years ago I became a good DJ because I had to learn a lot of small things that I overlooked. Because I was just interested in me playing music. Knowing that if it's 7 o'clock, I need to play music for 7 o'clock. If I'm playing at 12, I'm playing music for 12 o'clock. My mixing is on point, but I'm not a good DJ. Until I started learning the smaller things, because I used to ask him a lot of questions. Everywhere we go, I would ask him, bro, how do you do this? How do you do that? How do you get to mix like 3 minutes in, like you're playing the song for 3 minutes and I can hear it, but how do you do it? And him showing me all of that made me a good DJ. The DJ that I am today is because of DJ Christos, because like I said earlier on, you need to learn before you earn. And my goal is still learning
before earning. Your experience in the radio stations, I'm sure you've met a lot of great DJs. Like the people that you've interviewed on radio, besides you being on Ndo-C FM, being on Metro, I'm definitely sure you got an opportunity to meet and discuss and see and network with a lot of industry cats and people. How was that experience for you in terms of being part of that kind of an industry or that size of an industry?
Bro, it was overwhelming. I remember the first week on Metro, Jazzwell and Ket Laket came through. And I'm a huge fan of Ket Laket, bro. Like, I literally got chills when I saw him walking into the studio. I'm like, yo, Ket Laket is here, Jazzwell is here. And every other week, I would get chills because these are people I looked up to. Coming up as a DJ, I would follow them on the socials, check what they're doing, and now I get to speak to you one-on-one. So for me, it was like just amazing to meet all these DJs and be part of such a huge show, because the urban beat was everything.
True.
I remember when I started listening to the urban beat, Zeal was the host. And at that point in time, Vanny and Christos used to be in studio. Every week they were in studio on air, and that's when I started listening to the urban beat. So being a listener and now you're part of the team on the urban beat was just overwhelming for me to be part of that. And meeting everybody else also shaped me. Because like I said, I would ask questions. because I want to know, how did you get it right to be where you are today?
Yeah.
What channels did you follow? Because everybody's journey is different.
True.
You know?
True.
What works for Endo might not work for Taz.
Yeah.
What works for Taz might not work for Endo. But knowing and understanding what we went through will somehow shape you.
Yeah.
Because you will tell me, bro, I've been there. I know what is what. I know that this is not the right way for you to follow because it's dark.
Yeah.
That's the dark road that you want to take.
Yeah.
You know? So just asking these questions really, really helped me. And now my network is, I won't say big, but it's big.
Yeah.
Because I've met so many influential people while being the content producer on the Urban Beat.
Yeah. Yeah. You still doing that?
Nope. I'm no longer doing that. When COVID happened, programming changed.
Yeah.
And Fanny and Christos were no longer part of the Urban Beat.
Yeah.
And Lou. And then I'm like, maybe I should also just bounce, because if they are not here, it's not gonna feel the same.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
And then I moved on and I continued doing the DJing thing. And that's actually when I started working on my compilation stuff.
Sorry, you never had any aspirations to take over the show?
At some point, I felt like I can run the show.
Yeah.
And do it. But, you know, I never even met the station manager at Metro FM.
Is it?
Never ever met the station manager at Metro FM.
Wow. So literally, you were basically just a volunteer on the show?
Yes, I was just a volunteer, and no one knew that I was a volunteer. People thought that this kid is probably getting paid a lot now because they see you every week at Metro FM, you're rolling with the big boys, you know. And I'm like, I'm humble about it. I don't even need to tell you that I'm a volunteer.
Yeah.
That's your perception of what I'm doing. I know where I'm going and what I'm doing, so you don't need to know that I'm just a volunteer.
Yeah.
You know, and that actually helped me. Because now people think that, hey, this guy is in the big league, we can book him now.
But I also feel there was a bit of an injustice to an extent, in the sense that you had the radio skills, you had the... Well, it would have been great for you to be the progress now, from being an assistant on the show, content creator on the show, to saying, hey, Taz, take the show, man. I don't know who's running it now. Who's running Urban Beat now?
Ryan the DJ.
Ryan the DJ.
Yes.
Yeah. Hey? Have you ever tried applying to Metro as a... Have you ever tried going back on radio? Let me put it that way.
Yes. Actually, the radio station, and please, if you're checking this out, Kaya FM.
Yeah.
That's where I want to be. Like, yo, Kaya FM has been like one of those radio stations where I said, like, the next radio station that I want to go to needs to be Kaya FM.
Yeah.
I remember when Greg Maluka was the station manager, I went to a radio conference. It's called Radio Days Africa.
Yeah.
Right? So every year I used to attend Radio Days Africa for a week. It's like 4 day conference.
Yeah.
And one day Greg Maluka was one of the guest speakers.
Yeah.
And while he was speaking, I actually tweeted and on Facebook I tagged him, and I'm like, when your future boss is giving you a lecture, and he responded and he's like, what if I'm his boss in the next few years? And I'm like, this is gonna work for me. But yeah, I wanna join Kaya FM. I think that's the radio station where I feel like I'll be more comfortable, and because they play what I like, and they for everyone, you know, and the issues that they discuss on air. Because I listen to T-Boss. T-Boss is a dope. I actually met T-Boss because he was one of I did a short course in radio station management, and he came through one day and I met him like personally, and I had like a very long conversation with him, you know, regarding his music, his style, and everything he plays, and even his relationship with his wife, and how he opens up on air about his relationship and stuff, you know. So yeah, I think Kaya FM is definitely the station where I want to be at.
Jesus. Speaking of Greg Maluka, he is one of the greatest pioneers of radio I've ever met, read about, and seen in action. My in tune sense with house music comes from YFM days, where generally from 6 in the morning to the next morning they're playing music that you want to listen to. The culture of radio, literally me listening to radio, came from YFM. You know most the whole story of
Yes.
how he ended up being the station manager at YFM.
Nope, I don't know the full story on how he became the station manager.
So the man wrote up the lineup of who needs to be when, at what time, and how, while in a line for an interview to become a DJ, a radio host for a show.
Whoa.
So while he was on the line, he met Kabzela, Fresh, all the radio DJs at the time. In the line. And the way they tell the story, that Greg literally figured out with Jesus, these dudes are going to be great.
At this point.
Yeah.
Wow.
I got no chance here. Let me try and be the manager of this thing. So I literally want to hear the story from him, because I think it's such a great and powerful story for what YFM turned out like, and to know that he was the guy who was responsible for all of that.
Yes.
Literally, great radio, my bro. Great radio from YFM, and he was the pioneer of that thing. When he left, KFM.
And he did an amazing job.
Amazing job, bro. Amazing job. You like, literally, for me finding out that he was also responsible for how Kaya turned out, and saying, I can see that hand, the hand from YFM, and you can see that hand. Then they said, look at DSTV Delicious. Yep. He's got a hand in that thing as well. And I was like, everything that man does,
he touches turns to gold,
bro. It makes me feel like I'd like to sit down with that man and pick his brain, just to find out how he views things for them to turn out the way they turn out.
Yep.
Like, yeah. Shout out to Greg Maloka, by the way.
The musical maestro.
I actually saw him play at Saints the last time I was down there by you guys. And he dropped some very dope tunes and dope jams, man.
Yeah, and what I like about him is he'll tap into stuff that you don't expect him to play.
True.
Like, you don't expect the song and then boom, he drops it.
Yeah.
I remember one day it was Vanita Vansi's birthday party, and I went out to his birthday party and Greg Maluka was playing.
Yeah.
And he played Anani Vega.
Yeah.
You Came Into My Life. I'm like, dog, when last did I hear the song? And I started dancing. I got so excited. I'm like, man of the match. I know people don't like this thing of man of the match, but personally, I would choose my man of the match.
Yeah.
When I go out. And I won't say who is my man of the match, but personally, I would feel like this DJ rocked me today.
Yeah.
From start to finish, you were the highlight.
Yeah.
And he was my man of the match that day.
Yeah. Funny enough, you say that he was playing something from Anani. He a lot of his sets you'll find stuff from
Louis.
Mao. Yeah, you'll always find stuff from Mao. A lot of his sets. I think he's a great fan of them. I saw him spin at Vinny's Thursday this one time, and he's got this vinyl in his bag that I really love. really want. So I tuned him up. It would be nice to get that vinyl. He says, if I see you spin vinyl, I'll give it to you. And so it's just been a challenge that's been sitting there on the table.
So maybe you need to get into it.
No, I reminded him the other day. So I literally did a live mix for the YouTube channel.
Why?
And I actually sent him the link, and I said, there I am playing vinyl. Please keep to your word. I know you're a man. Yeah, he didn't respond. But
he'll respond.
I'm not going to let that up. He said I'm not going to let that up. Yeah, man. So basically, currently you're looking at if you can get into Kaya FM, right?
Yes.
What are the... How do you apply to Kaya FM, for instance?
I have no idea. In all honesty, I have no idea. I don't even know who the current station manager is at Kaya FM. I think I actually need to go and do my research.
Yeah.
And maybe I'll apply to Kaya FM and then join.
Have you ever considered volunteering there?
Yes, I have numerous times.
Yeah.
But then also sometimes I think about it like, volunteering, you need to get to the station. What if it's late? How are you gonna get home?
Yeah.
And if there's a stipend, by all means I can do it.
Yeah.
Because they're situated in Rosebank.
Yeah.
And I'm in the south, in Klipspruit West. I need to take an Uber home, and I don't even mind doing a graveyard slot.
Yeah.
Like, I can do graveyard slots any day because I don't sleep at night.
Yeah.
So if you put me on at 2 a.m. till 6, I can rock a 2 in the morning till 6 or 3 to 6
Yeah,
in the morning. I don't mind doing that, or 12 to 3.
Yeah.
I don't mind being on those graveyard slots until I can get to where I need to be, you know.
Yeah. Obviously. It sounds like radio is that much of a passion to you.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, you should.
And it opens up your mind, because remember, every single day you're creating content.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
And as a content producer, sometimes we tell our personal stories from your point of view.
Yeah.
Like I would use Ndo as an example, but it's actually my story.
Yeah.
And I would just use Endo's name.
Yeah.
And the listener won't know that this is actually my personal story that I'm sharing here.
Yeah.
And sometimes you actually get advice from so many other people that's going to help you.
Yeah.
And sometimes sharing that little bit of information about yourself using an alias, people actually open up to the same problems that they are faced with.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So I feel like radio is the medium where we can openly discuss whatever we're going through.
Yeah.
You know, and having listeners and people in studio can also help you overcome certain things. You know, I remember my dark phases. Like I had dark phases where I felt like, things are not going according to plan. You know, nothing is working for me. Like, bro, like you're on your last pair of shoes. That's how bad it was. You know, like I'm on my last pair of shoes. I don't have money. I don't have gigs. I can't even cut my hair. You know, what are you gonna do? And I'm like, now I need to go back and get a day job. You know, I did the day job, but it's not where I wanna be. You know, I'm only doing it because I need the money to survive, but it's not where I wanna be. And it's also making me depressed. Because I have to wake up and I have to go deal with Ndo, who is my boss, and he's bossing me around the whole day, and I'm doing his shit. You know, I'm like, nah, I don't wanna be here. I'm leaving this. As much as I need the money, nope, it's not making me happy. You know, I would rather have no money but then be happy. You know?
I get you.
Because
fully.
What's the use? Because I know rich people that are very, very unhappy. And I know famous people that don't have money. You know? So for me, it was always fame doesn't mean fortune, and fortune doesn't mean happiness. You know, because you can be rich, and but then you're unhappy. You could be famous, but then you don't have money. You know? So I just want to be happy. The money, the fame and all of that, it's a bonus. You know, if I'm getting a gig and I'm getting paid, it's a bonus. I'm getting money, I can survive on it. But just me being happy, playing what I'm playing, going out, meeting new people, that's the ultimate goal for me, being happy at the end of the day. Because I also realized that the industry that we are in takes so much from us as people, you know, and people are so afraid to open up and speak about what's going on in their lives. They're putting up a facade that everything is hunky-dory and I'm okay, I'm making it in life, but behind the scenes you're not making it. You know, and social media also plays a big role in that, because now you're posting happy pictures. You're posting your flights, you're flying out, you're doing that. But when you come back home, dog, you're coming home to a depressed, unhappy home. You know? So I think maybe if people just started opening up more and be honest about where they are in life, you know, it will actually help. Because imagine if I started putting up a front that I've made it, you know. Do you think people will actually book you? If you posting pictures of Beamers every day, Ferraris, wearing Louis Vuitton and Gucci, people would be like, he's okay.
Well, I don't know. Oscar Mbo posts pictures of him shopping in Paris, shopping in the US, you know, and great stuff, you know, like.
But then again, maybe if you have it all figured out, it's okay to do it. But if you don't have it figured out, I won't necessarily post pictures of me getting Gucci and Louis and, you know, the fancy stuff, knowing that my life is not there. Because also remember, there are people that knows you in real life. You know, your neighbors have you on Facebook and they'll be like, what? He asked for sugar the other day.
I hear you.
You know,
there's a friend of mine, Siandala, that we had a conversation the other day, speaking about the concept of the facade. Right? And he was telling me that consider it in this manner. if you were to come in and sit in an office with directors of DBS, and they wanted to give you a tender for you to transport certain things with trucks, and you pitched up with, for argument's sake, a Taz outside, do you think they'd give you a tender worth 400 million?
I think they would, because that's just my transport. That doesn't necessarily mean I can't do the work.
But it also says, why aren't you driving a car that resembles the amount of money that you deal with in your everyday business? You get what I mean?
Okay.
If you're if you're going to handle 400 million of our money, you should be able to say,
a Ranger.
You can park a car that resembles the idea that you can handle so much money. But if you're going to park a Taz, is this your first tender? Or is this your first job that you're going to do in order then to afford the car that needs to be parked outside?
Okay, so what if I then decide I'm going to go borrow a nice car for that day from a friend of mine to put up the front?
Yeah, so I wanted to come to the point that Sia was telling me that people literally go out and buy expensive cars, right? So as they can wear expensive suit in their expensive cars and park and walk in and ask for a tender for 400 million and get it. While
because they're looking the part. They look
the part. So as when he gets back home, he lives in the back room of his mother's house, right? He lives there, but he drives the most expensive cars. And that's based on, if you're going to deal with business that sits at that amount of money, you need to look like you can handle the amount of money. Because literally, I don't think anybody would give you 400 million knowing you drive a Taz. The first thing that comes into mind is you're going to buy a Range Rover with the money we just gave you before you do the work. You get what I mean? So I still said it makes no sense, because I stand with you. My ability to do the work has got nothing to do with what's resembled around me.
Yes.
Whether I'm walking when I come to the meeting, whether I'm wearing fellies and a pair of shorts, it doesn't resemble my work. But then obviously, the money that you're going to be dealing with and the people have a perception of, you need to
look the part.
You need to be at this level so as we can guarantee that you can do the job. So you find people dressed in particular ways. You find people buying expensive clothes, Louis Vuittons and that. If I'm wearing clothes from Pick and Pay, your first opinion of me would be, oh, I can pay Ndo 5 grand. And I can't tell you I want 120,000 rand for an hour set, because I don't look the part. Yes or no?
Nope. No. I disagree, because literally right now, this is a Pick and Pay shirt.
Fair enough.
That I'm wearing, you know?
Yeah.
And my ability to do the work is there, you know?
Yeah.
And also what I've seen is that a lot of rich people, real rich people, don't wear the rich stuff. They're investing their money in property and in other avenues, you know, whereas people that don't have the money, they
splurge.
They splurge and they want to look like they have money.
Show me an artist or a DJ that gets paid 120,000 for an hour set that literally is not looking like they are $1 million, or they're not wearing clothes.
Okay, I can't show you anybody.
You see what I mean? Well, when we were having this discussion, we went and looked at Maporesa when he goes out and plays.
Yeah.
Literally, he's wearing plus minus 750,000. That's just dressed in that amount of money. You look at Gabza, you look at Oscar Mbo, literally what they're dressing in.
You need to say Oscar MBO. You can't say Mbo, you must say MBO.
You look at that and you look at how they're dressed.
Yep.
You book them, you'll hear Oscar will tell you straight. My fee, I think it was 30K, I don't know whether it went up now.
Okay.
He's got a specific fee of how much he wants. Maybe he's already 50K or 120 by now. This is how much I want. Number two, also, I'm bringing down a team of 4. You need to fly them in, right? Also, I need to stay in this particular place. Also, it needs to be so many stars. Also, this is what I drink. So the whole entire contract now includes the vast majority of the things he does. This is based on his business model now says, I need to be parking a Range Rover outside. I need to be wearing 750,000 on me, and I need my team around me so as we can sell this particular product. So as if Taz is going to call me and say he has an event and I give him the price tag of 150,000 for 1 hour set, he's not going to argue with me because literally he can see. You get what I mean? Yeah, I don't agree with it either. I don't agree with it either because I feel like I was saying earlier on, I think there needs to be some form of auditing in the industry and in the game, right? So as we can have a determined price tag of how do we charge things. An hour set for 120,000.
It's a lot of money, bro.
It's a lot of money, bro.
120,000 rand is a lot of money.
It's a lot of money. Now
for 60 minutes,
bro.
Yo, that's a lot of money.
It always gets me wondering, Oguti, the logistics of those events, the artists that play at those events, how much money goes into that. And then at the end of the day, the bottom line of the event, how much do they make and get for them to run such a big production and also then have costs of 120,000 for like 10 artists.
If like I would the first thing I'm thinking about right now is the overheads. Like, what are you spending on your sound, your staging, your lighting, your DJs? Like you said, if you're paying one DJ 120,000 or just let's say 100,000 rand for an hour set, 100k is already a lot of money. I think with 50,000 rand you can put together a dope lineup.
True.
With the 50k and have a dope lineup, right? But 100,000 for one person, how much are you paying all the other supporting acts,
bro?
You know, how much are you gonna make at the end of the day? And how much are you gonna sell your tickets at the end of the day? And with our economy, I don't think, okay, people have money. I know people have money out here, but not everybody can spend so much on a ticket for a specific event.
Yeah, true.
You know,
I also,
and you wanna be there, but now ticket is like 1,000 rand. You're like, yo.
I also think it's another facade, you know, this price tag, because literally I haven't seen a lot of these contracts. I've never seen Maporesa's contract to say he literally charges that much. It's the word out on the street that says he charges this much, you know. And for some of the spaces that they play at, I don't think they get paid.
They're getting paid
120. Yeah, maybe there's also a negotiation on the side to say, okay, I'll take 50k here, I'll take 30k here, I'll take this amount of money here. But literally,
I want to reach that level. I really want to reach that level where I can get paid 100,000. I'll even play like 4-hour sets.
Bro. Yeah, but I think it's branding 101, you know. They're selling certain products and they got an idea as to how they want to be featured in the industry and be seen in the industry. And I think that's when they implement such measures to say, we start doing this and this is how much we start costing. Because obviously,
but then again, with what you said right now about charging 100k, if you are charging 100k, how many gigs are you gonna do in a month, 6 months to a year? You know,
true.
And I think for 100k or even 50k, that's festivals. You know, where you have over 100,000 people actually at an event. So that you can get paid so much. So how many festivals are you gonna play? Because like you said earlier on, a club gig can never pay you 100,000 rand. Because how much is a club gonna make if they paying you 100k,
dude?
You know. But then again, there's a lot of nonsense happening in the industry as well that we don't know about, and there's a lot of stuff that we know about but we can't speak up about it. You know, and be open about what's happening in the scene. Because you might be tramping on the toes of people that can open doors for you. You know, so it's better just to be quiet about certain things and save yourself at the end of the day. Because I might just mention, oh, Endo did 1, 2, 3, and then whoa, 7 doors closed for you. Because Endo has the keys for those 7 doors, and you have no idea that Endo actually has the keys to those 7 doors that you want to walk in.
It makes it pretty much very difficult out there to say your career, so to call it. Let's call it a career. Your presence in the industry is determined by people that can either take offense to what you say and then close doors for your livelihood, you know, your kids' livelihood, your existence. You know,
it's sad. It's really sad. And I also ask myself the question, like, if you are gonna close a door for someone, don't you think that karma might just come for you also one day?
Hey, bro.
You know, because that's how life works.
Yeah.
You know, the energy that you put out is what you will receive.
True.
So if, like I said earlier on, I manifested everything I have today.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And that means me putting out good energy, good
Yeah.
vibrations. And life is something else, hey? If you vibrating on a low frequency, everything in your life will be on a low.
Yeah.
You know, because you wake up in the morning and you're like, yo, I don't have money. Yo, I don't. But if you wake up and you tell yourself, hey, today's a good day.
Yeah.
Even if I'm broke, I have no money in my pocket, but today is a good day.
Yeah.
And your energy and your vibrations are high. You start attracting everything that you want in
True.
life.
True.
You know?
True.
So I think that if you start blocking people and you're closing doors on certain people, that's when life turns on you as well.
Yeah, it
you
is,
know? In the radio space, people that I had in for interviews and all of that, those are the people that actually pray that I can make it in life because I gave them an opportunity. It's not like I'm doing it because I want anything in return.
Yeah.
But just knowing that I could actually be of help and I played a part in Ndo's career.
Yeah.
One day someone will do the exact same thing for me
Yeah.
without me expecting it. You know, and that's exactly how my life has been over the last 9 years now, 10 years basically, because House Essentials is 10 years old now.
Yeah.
Right. This year it will be 10 years of me doing House Essentials. And in the last 10 years, I've met so many people, went through so many different phases, changes, challenges. You know, for example, lockdown was one of those challenges that I faced,
Yeah.
you know. But during lockdown, everybody that was part of my journey before lockdown came up and they showed up and they helped me out and say, hey bro, we know where you're at now and what's happening in your life, you know, I can assist you if you need assistance. And I was working with DJ Christos at that time during lockdown, and every single week, because I used to phone him and be like, do I still have a job?
Yeah.
You know, and he would convince me like, bro, relax, you're still fine, you have your job, everything is okay, you know. And I won't necessarily say everything needs to be financial support, you know, but just people being there for you and guaranteeing you that you will be okay, you know, supporting you mentally and helping you understand that everything will be okay in life, you know. It's not the end of the world. And I think we need more people like that in the industry, you know, whereby I can call you up and be like, yo bro, I'm having a situation, I'm stuck, I don't know what to do, and Ndo will be of help and guide me and say, bro, why don't you follow this? Have you tried 1, 2, 3? You say you want to make money, how are we going to get to that 5,000 or 6,000 that you need? Let's work on a plan, you know. I feel like that is what we need in our industry, people that are actually there to support one another, build one another and grow together. I always mention this to the bros that I work with, right? Everyone that's in my circle. And I mention this to everyone. I would tell them that the reason why we still have Vinny, Christos, Ganyani, Fresh, Greg Maluka and everybody that started the house music scene 3 decades ago, you know, 4 decades, because house music is like 40 years old, you know. They are here and they are still relevant because of brotherhood. You know, they had brotherhood, they worked together. There was no shade. We never had social media, so people couldn't throw shade on social media. They had brotherhood and they helped one another, you know. And if we, the next generation of house music, start following the same practices that they followed, we gonna win at the end of the day, because we are the future of house music, you know. In the next 5, 10, 15, 20 years, we gonna be the leaders of house music. But if we don't have brotherhood now, I don't think we're gonna last. You know, if we continuously break each other down on social media, I don't want to use this word, but have shit to say on social media about the next producer, and if you don't like something, keep quiet. Be quiet about it. You don't have to be vocal about it. You don't like it, you don't like it.
I've always said this to people, that I think it's best if you feel something is of shit quality. I think it's more appreciated if you come directly to me and tell me, this is off shit, this is how you improve.
Yes.
So as then I can take
then I can
constructive
constructive criticism, and
Yeah.
that will help me, because now I know, okay, Taz, your mixing is kak.
Yeah.
You're not doing it right.
Yeah.
But not going on social media and posting, hey, Taz is a kak DJ. You know, like you said, come to me directly and say, hey, bro, you must improve here and there because you're not doing it right.
Yeah.
You know, and then I can take it like a big bro and say, hey, thank you, Ndo, for helping me, because
Yeah.
you showing interest
Yeah.
that you want me to succeed and you want me to be a good DJ,
Yeah.
and you giving me the skills that you have. Like
Yeah.
you said, if you're a kak DJ, then you must show me how to be a good DJ.
Yeah.
If I'm a shitty producer, come help me be a good producer then.
Fact.
You know, you can't say shit, but you're not helping me become better.
Fact.
You know, so we just need brotherhood. That's what we need right now in the industry. Everybody needs to work together.
Yeah.
You know, and not have small circles, and everyone doing their own thing. Imagine, I mentioned this to the bros in my neighborhood, right?
Yeah.
And I say to them, we have a lot of promoters in the neighborhood, right? So what if we decide 5 promoters, let's just use 5 promoters come together and we form a brotherhood.
Yeah.
Right? So it's Endo's month to host. Everybody else will promote Endo's event.
Yeah.
You know, Taz is part of it. Whoever's a promoter, we're all promoting your event.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
my followers will buy your tickets because they're seeing that Taz is promoting this event.
Yeah.
You know, Taz is part and parcel of it. Whoever, it's like a society basically.
Yeah.
You know, so if it's my turn, everybody else will support me, and your followers will come to my gig. In that way, everyone will make money.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
and it will also be a way to bring people together, because remember, if I have my followers, you have your followers, but now I tell 2 or 3 people in my circle that I don't fuck with Ndo,
Yeah.
I don't like him,
Yeah.
my people are gonna start walking around with the same energy.
Yeah, we don't
that
like that
we
guy.
don't like him.
Yeah.
Why don't you like him? How? I don't know. I just don't like him.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know?
I heard shit stories about it.
But if they see that there's actually fucks with Ndo, these niggas are bros. They rocking together. They moving together. Their mindsets will start changing as well,
Yeah.
and they will also start supporting. And also, it will help in a sense of getting everyone together at the same time. You know, and it will also help improving the way we do events.
Good vibrations.
Because if we have 5 people supporting one promoter, you know, if I see, hey, there's a lack here, bro, I know someone that can do security for you.
Yeah.
I have a friend, he can pull up and do security for you.
Yeah.
No, I know Ndo. Ndo has the best sound system. Let's get Ndo in and he'll do the sound for you. You know, so everybody will bring that little bit that we have, and we create one thing for you. How many graphic designers do we have in our circle? You know, one person can be dedicated to say you doing the graphics for everybody.
Yeah.
So that's your span now. You know, at the end of the year, you did 5 people's artwork.
Yeah.
And you're getting paid for everybody's gigs now.
Exactly.
You know, it's like you contracted to this. You know that Endo's doing sound for everyone.
Yeah.
This photographer is taking pictures for everyone.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know?
yeah.
And in that way, the money stays in our circle.
And it grows
You know,
in
the
there.
money grows and the economy will grow now, because now we can become better DJs.
Yeah.
We can become better promoters. We can host better events now because we have a circle that understands the core values of what we want to achieve.
You know? Amen to that, by the way.
So I think that is exactly what we need right now, just brotherhood.
Yeah.
And people understanding that we are building the same thing. We are all doing this for the same reason, you know. And I strongly believe that I found house music here.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna leave house music here at the end of the day. You
Yeah,
know,
yeah.
I'm not bigger than house music. I'll never ever be bigger than house music, you know. And I think as soon as you start realizing that no one will ever be bigger than the music, then things are gonna be okay, you
Yeah,
know.
yeah.
Because you need to know that you're just here to play your part.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
it's like I'm not into sport, right? But let's say, for example, a soccer team. Your strikers know exactly what their role is.
Yeah.
Your defenders know what they need to do. So if everybody plays their position and play your role in what you need to do, everything will work.
Yeah.
That's how teams score goals, because the defenders are defending.
Yeah,
And the strikers are scoring.
Yeah,
You know.
yeah.
So if you a striker in the field where we are at, and you know, hey, I can score goals, I can go to Ndo and get us funding, Be the striker.
Yeah.
Go score that goal so that we can get the money.
Yeah.
You know, if you know, hey, I'm a defender, I'm gonna be security. Be security.
Yeah.
Be tight. Secure us. You know. So I think that's all that we need right now, and our scene will flourish.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
And then we don't have to have all these smaller circles and things. We can just be one big circle and one house music. As much as we're playing different styles and different sounds of house, it's still house music. It's under one umbrella.
Yeah.
You know, it's house, and then you have the subgenres of house. So everybody is part of, like, we're literally in this house.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And you just in your room, you in your room, you in the dining room, I'm in the kitchen.
Yeah.
But we still in the same house.
Yeah. No, well said, Taz, well said. To brotherhood. Yeah.
That's what we need, brotherhood.
How did what's your Soul Candy release called? Is it still called Essential House?
It's House Essentials.
House Essentials.
Yeah,
sorry.
so House Essentials, the reason why I actually kept the title House Essentials was because remember, House Essentials has a very deep meaning to me.
Yeah.
Because I produced House Essentials in my first year when I went through a whole lot of shit, and I knew that I was never ever gonna go back to Boston because I don't have the money to go back to Boston. And when I got my first show on Ndo-C FM called House Essentials, and from House Essentials, the radio show, I moved into doing events where I had House Essentials Sundays. And the reason why I did House Essentials Sundays was simply because I wanted to sit and drink beer on a Sunday and listen to house music.
Yeah.
And what nice way is it to invite a few friends over and we can chill, listen to music, get a few of my DJ friends to play music while we're sipping on some beers, you know?
Yeah.
And I did House Essentials Sundays, and from House Essentials Sundays, the plan was always, like I said, to do the compilation. And when I compiled everything, I'm like, what am I gonna call this? You know? And I'm like, no, House Essentials, because the name House Essentials is already out there. People know what House Essentials is about. It comes from the radio show. They go to the Sundays, you know. So let me just do House Essentials.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's House Essentials. I'm actually working on volume 2 now.
Nice. When did you release one?
Volume 1 was released in October 2024.
24.
Yeah. So October 2025, I'll be releasing House Essentials Volume 2. I have some dope producers on volume 2. And this time around I've decided I'm gonna include, I don't want to use the word female producers, but I'm adding some female producers to the list of producers for House Essentials Volume 2. There's Black Villain.
Okay.
Black Villain will be one of the producers on, and there's also 29 Mindset.
Okay.
She's a dope DJ, dope producer as well. So 29 Mindset will be on Volume 2. I have a few DJs from Cape Town, DJ producers from Cape Town as well. The Village CPT will be on House Essentials Volume 2. I also have TIB. TIB is also on Volume 2. And then some fresh pros that are also in the scene, like your Louis Anima. Who else is on there? I have a long list. I have like 15 producers for the compilation because I want to do 15 tracks this time around.
Nice.
Because I felt like the last one was a bit too short, you know. it was a bit too short, and I'm like, nah, this time around I want to do a 15 track compilation. And I'm 5 tracks in.
Okay.
For the compilation. So yeah.
Do you produce personally?
I started production in 2012. I know the ins and outs of it, but my core focus was radio. Because I felt like if I'm on radio, it's going to be so much easier then to play my music on radio. So if I do go back to music production and I'm on radio, it's easy to say, today I'm playing my own music. I can play my own music on air without having to worry, like, who am I going to send it to? I don't know who's the music compiler. You know? But I actually want to go back into music production. I think when I'm done compiling everything for the compilation, I'll start working on an EP. Because I wanna do production again.
Take me through, what does it take for you to license music from? In fact, just take me through how you would get to the part whereby you're handing over the compilation to Soul Candy and saying, here it is, you can release.
Okay, so with House Essentials Volume 1, I compiled everything and I spoke to the A&R and I'm like, bro, this is what I have. I've compiled music and I want to release this as a compilation. And he's like, okay, I have to listen to it first.
Yeah.
And obviously give you approval if we can release this, if it's feasible for us to release this.
Okay.
And I asked him, okay, so if we do release House Essentials Volume 1, what are we going to do in terms of licensing? And he's like, okay, straight to the point, it's a 50-50 split, right?
This is between you and...
between the producers and the record label.
Okay.
So the producers will be signing a licensing deal with Soul Candy.
Okay.
Right?
All right.
And it's a 50-50 split between the producers and Soul Candy.
For how many years?
I don't know exactly because they signed the contract. It's their contracts that they sign. I have my own contract with Soul Candy that I signed for my compilation, and then they sign a licensing deal. But 100% of the publishing belongs to the producer.
Okay.
So you own your masters.
Okay.
The master belongs to you.
All right.
So if, for example, they want to use your song in an advert or whatever, you getting the money for that because you own the master.
Okay.
You know, but it's a 50-50 split, so it's a 50-50 licensing deal between the record label and the producers, and then 100% of the publishing belongs to the producer.
Which is nice. How do you then filter into the contracting of the compilation?
So I have a percentage that I get from royalties and also performances. That's where you getting your, basically where I'm getting my,
you're getting,
yes, because that's also instantly, right? So my royalty percentage is there, but remember that will come in at a later stage, because you can't expect royalties when you just drop. You must make money. You know. So the performances is actually where you're getting your money from. And also the reason why I started doing the compilation was just to get myself out there, you know. Like I need to reach a level where people know that this is a brand, you know. This Taz Golden is not just a DJ, you know. And the reason why I don't like being called a DJ is because I feel like it limits you. Because then people think, he's only a DJ. You know. And I do a lot of different things, you know. So that's why I chose to have my name and my surname, Taz Golden. So when people hear the name Taz Golden, it pops up everywhere. Like if you hear Taz Golden, oh, he does 1, 2, 3. Oh no, I know him from. But if you say DJ Taz, it's like, he's just a DJ. And also the term DJ was misused and abused, you know. I used to struggle, like meeting someone and then they find out you were DJ. They're like, you like girls. I'm like, yo, not all DJs. I do like girls. I love girls. I'm not gonna lie. I like girls. But I'm not a womanizer. What if I'm a good guy? And you don't know that I'm a good guy, you know? Like my girlfriend right now, she loves me, you know, because I'm that person for her. You know? But the term DJ, I think it was abused way too much. And that's why I'm like, I don't want to be known as just a DJ.
I'll give you my 2 cents on why I decided to call myself, like to literally go DJ Ndo-C.
Yes.
Right. When I looked at the profession of DJ, I've always felt it is a profession.
Yes, it is.
And for you to be rendered DJ, that is the profession. So you should be as professional as possible.
It's like doctor.
I was going there, which you wouldn't refer to. Who was the doctor again that you? Makwe. You wouldn't refer to Makwe when you walk into his offices. Hey, Makwe, I'm feeling sick. You would give him the title of Dr. Makwe. Please assist me because I'm feeling sick. You know. When you refer to cops, you go officer so and so and so and so. So I've always felt that as a DJ, you need that title for the respect that comes with it. You know.
But I was just afraid that, when people hear DJ, it's like you're meeting the in-laws now and then your father-in-law's like, oh, you a DJ. Okay. You know, DJs. And also, remember, like, growing up, my grandparents, like I said to you, they were
musical.
They were musical, but they were anti-DJing and stuff because of the scene and what happens, you know, the drugs, the girls and all of that, you know. So when people hear that DJing term, they think, he's doing nonsense, you know.
Which is quite funny. I can't remember where I read this a couple of weeks back, and it was talking about the Owens in how much drugs are done in Wall Street and how much drugs are done in Hollywood. You know, like people are doing drugs on the table while having a script discussion. I was like, okay, but then things like being a DJ is rendered more there's more drugs being a DJ than you would look at a person in an office who always carries one of those small bottles. And
on those, like in the movies.
Hey, bro. So, yeah. Ish.
I remember one day, we went to a club in Johannesburg, and I was with a friend of mine. So we head out, we go to the bathroom, and he sees this guy taking lines.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
He goes up to the guy and says to the guy, bro, I'm a police officer.
Shit.
And I'm gonna lock you up.
Yeah. What the old Jude?
Bruh, that guy went out to change his clothes. He came in and he had on a different shirt and a different jacket. And he was paranoid the whole night. Because now my friend, whenever he sees him, he just points at him like, I'm watching you. It was funny because, like, you don't expect people to, like, just openly do it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
I know people back then, it used to be like, we're gonna do it in private.
Yeah.
Like, we'll just go out, they do it, they come back in. I was shocked when I walked in and I saw them literally chopping lines here and they doing it in the bathroom. I'm like, yo, it's scary. And I also, like, one day I went out, Dawson was playing in Joburg and AD Fleming was there.
Yeah.
And we had a conversation and AD reminded me that I also need to be very, very careful of the industry that I'm in.
Yeah.
Because he said to me, this is a dark place. You need to be aware of who your circle is.
Yeah.
You know, because there's a lot of shit that happens.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
and I know people that are on drugs, that are doing drugs, you know, and it's so easy for you to be influenced into doing the same thing.
Yeah.
You know, because remember, if I'm chilling with you or you chilling with me rather, I'm the cool kid.
Yeah.
I know everybody. I'm the life of the party.
Yeah.
Everybody knows Taz. And I'm like, yo, Ndo, don't you wanna slant a line? You know? It's so easy for Ndo to fall into that trap because you're thinking, ish, if I don't do it, I'm not gonna be considered a cool kid. You know?
Ish.
If I don't do it, I might just block my opportunity of getting to where I want to be. I want to fit in. I'm in the circle. Let me just do it, you know? And then you end up messing up your whole life,
Bro.
you know? So he warned me about it. He's like, bro, you need to be careful of who you operate with and where you operate.
Yeah.
You know? If it's time to go home, you go home.
Yeah, at some stage, I've always advised to peer pressure, you know? In this game, you'll always be pressured to jump into things that might seem cool, but literally they might put you in a certain space or in a certain situation. I think knowing yourself, you know, when you talk about dark spaces for people, I think the one thing people don't do is do introspection about themselves.
Yep.
To say, who am I?
You need to know who you are.
You need to know who you are and stay true to that. You know, if it means you're losing a gig here because you don't want to do a line, if it means
I'll lose that gig. I'll lose 5 gigs because I'm not losing my life.
you know, because now you do that one line and then tomorrow you're forced to, you're pressured into another one. The other day you're pressured. The next thing you're hooked. The next thing you know, Endo's selling his mixers, his cameras, he's selling his TV. Next thing I'm selling my wife. I'm selling my kids. You know, I screw my life because I don't know who I am. I think being true to yourself and having to know yourself, whether it's a positive or not, literally life is about growing.
Yep.
It's about learning and it's about understanding certain things. So if you're busy pushing forward, push forward and understand who you are. Yeah.
I think it's very important to know who you are and also where you come from.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
You need to know where you come from.
Yeah.
And if you come from a place where you know that I had to work so hard to be here, why am I gonna mess it up right now?
Yeah.
You know? I'm at the forefront of everything. Why am I gonna mess it up now? Last year, when the compilation dropped, a friend of mine had a conversation with me and he's like, bro, right now you need to be very careful of what you do.
Yeah.
I know you like girls, but you need to cut down on these girls because they can get you into trouble.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Because you're getting to a level now where people are gonna start seeing you more often and you're going out now and you with this big record label. I'm not saying they're gonna do it,
Yeah.
but there's a possibility that they might do it.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
So stay away from these girls. If you go to a club, you don't leave with anyone.
Yeah.
You leave alone. You went to the club alone, you go home alone.
Yeah.
Because you're going to end up in situations where you don't want to be in.
Yeah.
Because they can obviously just say you raped her, you did 1, 2, 3, and now you're in a big saga, you have court cases and stuff. So just protect yourself. And at some point I was laughing because I know myself, right?
Yeah.
And I was laughing, but then when it hit me, I'm like, he's actually right.
Yeah.
You know, I need to be very, very careful of what I do, where I'm going, what I say, whatever is happening right now. I need to be very, very careful because I know where I'm going, and anybody and everybody can sabotage you.
True. You know, the one scary thing about what you just mentioned now is it doesn't even take a lot for somebody to destroy you, you know, get you arrested just for hanging out, you know. Yeah, man. At some stage, Gabs, I had somebody take a picture of him in bed.
Yep, I remember that one.
And it was posted on social media. And I wanted to ask about that situation and follow it. But I thought, that's none of my business, you know. What the man does in his own time is his thing. It's always better to move with your girlfriend, if you get what I mean. Then she gets to play defender for you in those type of situations. If you're at an event and your girlfriend is there, you're DJing, you finish, it's time to leave. Hey, baby,
let's go. Yep.
It always saves you from the trouble of ending up in the wrong side of shit.
It's so easy for you to actually fall in that, you know, because like I said, I like girls.
Yeah.
So imagine a beautiful girl walking up to you and she's interested in you.
Yeah.
And you're like, yo, this is my flavor, this is my size, this is my flavor, this is what I like, you know.
Yeah.
And then the next day, boom, court cases. And not only court cases, remember you can get sick as well.
Exactly.
You know?
Exactly.
Because right now, I don't have a condom in my pocket.
Yeah.
You know, how many people carry condoms? But if the situation or the opportunity arise, you're going to be like, no, I'm banging her.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
I'm eating it raw. And then tomorrow you end up with STIs, HIV, and on who's that now?
Hey, bro.
It's on you because
It's on
you
you,
chose to be that person. So I think that's also one of the things that I'm avoiding, like a lot, you know. Like even when I go out for gigs and stuff, sometimes I choose not to drink.
Yeah.
Because I want to be aware of my surrounding.
Yeah.
And be safe. If I don't feel safe at the gig, I'm like, I'm just gonna play and leave.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
I remember there was a hostage situation. It wasn't actually a hostage situation, but we were held hostage in the club for like close to an hour, where no one could go in or out, right? And
by the club owners or by
there was a fight and it ended up in a shootout, and they were shooting like crazy, bro, like crazy, like bullets everywhere, like you could literally hear the bullets flying past you, pew, pew. And
in an event,
yes, and I'm like, yo, my life is in danger, like this job is dangerous. Like at some point I'm like, I don't even want to take my girlfriend to gigs because what if she dies?
Yeah, my bro.
And then how am I gonna explain to a mother that your child got shot at the gig, you know? So it's one of those where you wanna take your girlfriend out, but it's also dangerous sometimes, you know? It might not happen, it might happen, you know? I still get nightmares. Sometimes I dream about it because it was so hectic, and I even had a dead body in my hands. You know, so it's scary knowing that I must go to a gig and I must go play. Sometimes I walk in and I get that fear that what if it happens today, where they're gonna shoot here and someone is gonna get killed, and I start becoming nervous and the anxiety kicks in. I'm like, yo, I know this is my job, but certain things happen. And now you're affected by it. You know.
Yeah.
So it's one of those where you must just choose wisely. Like play, leave. Like if you don't feel safe, leave. Immediately after your set, just bounce.
Hey, my bro. You could even get shot for a song request, right? There's a song like if somebody asks you, "Hey Taz, play this song." No, bro, I'm not gonna play that. There's a video that's been going around on social media. The DJ stopped the music, grabbed the mic, and said, so there was this lady with a song request.
Yep.
He killed the music and said, okay, what do you want me to do now? Because you've decided the fun for the whole crew must stop. The music must be shut down so as we can hear what you want to hear. So as you alone can be happy and everybody else can just wait. And she felt a bit cuck where she
Yeah.
was with the whole thing, and then she ended up leaving the stage trying to explain, no, I wasn't saying. So I was like, okay, this is we're not gonna do that. Who wants to have fun? He carried on playing. Now I'm thinking, you get a situation like that, right? You're embarrassing somebody's girlfriend.
My boyfriend feels like I'm gonna shoot this one.
Yeah, it feels like, oh man, what is this night doing? Yeah, hey, makak dideng. So I'm skit. You know? The next thing, bullets flying in the club. Just for a song request, you know? Ish.
But then again, also, if you're carrying a weapon to a gig, it automatically tells me that you are out to make kak.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Sharp, fair and well, we live in South Africa. It's fucking dangerous wherever we go. If you're carrying a firearm, leave it in your car. Why do you want to carry your firearm where people are going to have fun?
Yeah.
Because now I'm stepping on your toes, or I'm looking at your girlfriend or whatever, and you just feel like, this one I'm going to shoot him.
Yeah.
And then you end up shooting people in the club, you know. So if you do carry a gun, leave your gun in the car.
Hey,
bro. When we go out, you can carry your gun again, because we know this is South Africa. It's dangerous. But we need to make sure that events are safe for people.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
because after what happened, I stopped going to certain events. Like I was like, nah, I'm not going. There's a lot of 2000s. I'm not going.
Might end up getting shot, yeah.
Yeah, it looks dangerous. That area is not. I'm not going there. I'm not going here, because now you start living in fear.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Even with going to the mall, you know, it's so scary going to the mall now. Even for me, because I've witnessed a heist
Sheesh.
in a mall. You know, so whenever I see those cash in transit Owens, I'm like, aye, play far, bro. Walk on that side. Don't go near them, you know.
Yeah.
But then again, also, I can't live in fear.
Yeah.
You know, I can't constantly live in fear and be like, what if they're gonna shoot here? What if, like, when I came to Cape Town, the first thing I asked Jade was, bro, where are the dangerous areas here?
Yeah.
You know, because I don't want to go to no dangerous area. And I read up that Philippi is one of those dangerous areas. He's like, you don't go to Philippi. I'm like, I want to go to Philippi. I want to go see how dangerous it is. Because apparently that's the most dangerous place in Cape Town.
Okay.
You know, I'm like, because I saw videos. Because I've been watching videos and stuff on social media. I'm like, I want to go see how dangerous it is. You know, sometimes it's really about understanding why is it dangerous.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
and understanding why this person is doing what he's doing. You know, like, I won't say I respect people that commit crime and all that, but sometimes just knowing why they're doing what they're doing helps you understand.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
like if somebody's selling drugs, somebody goes and hijacks cars, somebody's stealing, ask him, why are you doing what you're doing?
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
sometimes people are doing it because they really need to do what they're doing.
Yeah.
You know, and sometimes you find that Ndo is just naughty.
Yeah.
Endo's from a rich family. Why is he a hijacker?
Yeah.
Why is he doing what he's doing? You know, this one is naughty.
Yeah.
So just finding out and understanding why people do what they do helps you understand society better. You know, I'm not saying I'm glorifying crime
Yeah.
or anything, but it's always just better to know why people do what they do.
Yeah. If they were able to take all those criminals and put them in the military and maybe the police force, we'd literally have little to no crime. Why? They're the people that plan how to do these crimes, so they would know which situations are. That guy stole shit.
Yeah,
you know?
he stole it. Or does I suspect him.
Yeah, I suspect you can see even the movements how he stole it.
Body
That's him.
language.
Yeah, that's him. That's him. But yeah, such is life. Back to so you said you're going now to do volume 2, right?
Yes.
So that's what we should be looking forward
Yeah,
to.
volume 2
end of
is
this year.
end of this year, October, around the same time. I dropped the last compilation. I'm gonna do House Essentials Volume 2 for summer 2025.
Yeah.
Dope producers, like I said, dope producers. I'm 5 tracks in. There's one song that I actually wanted to play today, by Dave Tempo. Oh, that's a dope song. The song is titled Love and War.
Yeah.
Dave Tempo is one of those producers that people also need to look out for.
Yeah.
He's a dope cat. So House Essentials Volume 2 for summer 2025, that's what you can look out for.
Okay. What else should we look out for that you'll be doing for the rest of the year?
Okay, so like I said, I want to do the compilation, and I want to start working on an EP.
Yeah.
And I'm also working on a TV series.
Oh, okay.
So I started with my character development.
Okay.
So My friends don't believe that I can play a gangster. They say I'm too soft, and I'm like, oh, and y'all don't know, I can be a mean person,
Yeah.
So I started working on a TV series because people don't believe that I can be a gangster. I can play the role of a gangster rather.
Yeah.
So I am working on a TV series that I wanna produce and star in. So I'm currently in my character development phase. Before I actually start with the script, I'm putting my characters together. So that's also something that I'm working on.
Yeah.
But I'm slowly working on it because my focus is more the music.
Yeah.
For this year. But I'm working on that as well.
So once you do this will be your second production. Is this going on TV?
I wanna do it for TV,
Okay, this will be a second production that goes for TV.
The first one, I was just an actor.
Yeah.
I didn't produce anything. I just got the script, got the role to play the lead for a short film on SABC 1, Ngempela Short Stories. And I played the role of a chef who was actually part of a gang.
Yeah.
But his dream was to become a chef.
Yeah.
And he wanted to leave the gang,
Yeah.
Funny enough, it played in the week. SABC 1 repeated it again.
Yeah.
And I'm like, everybody thinks I'm soft. I am soft, but I'm not soft. I wanna play the role of a top gangster, and run stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, this will be the second time that I'm gonna do some TV productions.
Jesus, bro, what does it take to produce a TV show?
Like for me, this is my first time actually doing the whole
Production side of it.
production side of it.
Yeah.
Because in media studies we had television production as well.
Yeah.
So that little bit of knowledge that I have from school is now assisting me and putting together everything. But I must say it is time consuming.
Yeah.
And also you need to be open-minded.
Yeah.
When creating your characters, putting everything together, you need to make sure that everybody knows what they're gonna do.
Yeah.
When you start actually getting the characters. So just by me putting together the names already, like this family, I can already picture like how must the uncle look.
Yeah.
He must have a bit of a mkaba. I want him to be like that. I want this to be like that.
Yeah.
So that's what I wanna do now. I actually wanna do more TV stuff now because I think that the music and the DJing, I've been doing DJing for 16 years now.
Yeah.
So I'm well on my way with the DJing and the music stuff.
Yeah.
So I can definitely start tapping into TV production now and work on TV productions.
Okay. Yeah. You were telling us about the series.
Yes.
You said it's called. It's on
Ngempela.
Ngempela.
Yeah, Ngempela Short Stories on SABC 1. So SABC 1 will repeat it like randomly.
Yeah.
And you know what's funny?
Mm-hmm.
Every single time there's a repeat of Ngempela, I end up having phone calls, people calling me, hey brah, we seeing you on TV. I'm like, yo, not again.
Yeah, it's actually dope.
It's funny and it's cool, but I'm like, yo, not again, because then people start calling me Nathan.
Yeah.
Because that was the character's name, Nathan. And they're like, yo, Chef Nathan. I'm like, yo. The other day, what was really funny, it was on, and I went to a friend of mine. And the next day, we went to Pick and Pay, right? And when we got to Pick and Pay, one of the ladies that works in Pick and Pay, she's like, you the chef?
Yeah.
You the chef? And I'm like, yeah, I'm the chef. She's like, can I have a picture with you? Yo, I started blushing. I'm like, yo, do you really want the picture? She's like, yeah, I want to show my daughter I met you.
Yeah.
She's like, but you have hair now. I'm like, yeah, because that's an old series. It was done in 2017.
Hell. Yeah, nah. But it's literally, what do they say? It's publicity.
Yep, it is. And I actually want to say this. SABC 1 is kind of keeping me relevant, you know, because I realized also when I started sharing the videos that people sent to me last week, so many people had no idea that I actually did a short film. Because my followers, some of them were new to it. They're like, oh, you do TV as well. I had no idea that you're into acting and stuff. And I'm like, okay. So SABC 1 repeating it is actually helping me, because now people say, oh, this cat is actually into this. Because remember, sometimes I even do this on social media where I share old content. Because I realized that the people that saw it the first time you posted, others didn't see it.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
so repeating stuff actually helps you, because
Yeah.
now new people are seeing old stuff that you've done.
Yeah. So we're looking out for the second album, the volume 2. We're
Yes,
looking out
House
for
Essentials.
your series.
The EP before the series.
before
Yes, I
the
want to do the
series.
EP. And you know, I said to my girlfriend, I'm gonna do a diss track EP. And she's like, why diss tracks? I'm like, no, I want to do diss tracks for all the relationships that failed.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
because I had bad luck when it comes to girls, you know.
Yeah.
Like nobody actually fully understood why I'm doing what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And you like the idea of Taz, but not the reality of Taz.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So you come in, you think, hey, big shot DJ because you know me from social media. But now you get the reality of me. Oh, he's actually broke.
Yeah.
He doesn't have money. He doesn't have a car. Oh, he still lives with his mom. The other day I actually mentioned to my mother and I said to her, stop saying back room.
Yeah.
I don't live in a back room. Say apartment. Please say apartment. She's like, it's a back room. I'm like, no, it's an apartment. I live in an apartment, and that's Houghton.
Yeah.
The backyard is Houghton.
It's quite
You know,
it's quite the right
because-
it's the right term.
Because
It's an
I
apartment.
feel like when you start changing your vocab and you're speaking life over certain things, I'm gonna get my apartment because now I believe that I'm already there.
Yes,
You know,
yes.
it's all about believing you there and you're halfway there.
Yeah.
You know, there's a song actually that says, "If you believe you're halfway there," Soldiers of Twilight.
Soldiers of Twilight.
You know, so just believing that you're there will allow you to be there. So my back room is no longer a back room; it's now
It's
an
an
apartment.
apartment, yeah.
And it's in Houghton.
From today onwards, my eating space, my living room and dining room is now my studio.
You know, and you're gonna get the studio. Your studio worth 100,000.
Definitely. All right, my man. It's been a pleasure having you here. You're such you're a vibe, dude.
Thank you so much, brother man. And I appreciate you inviting me to Analogue Culture.
Yeah.
I checked out a lot of your episodes on YouTube.
Yeah.
And to my surprise, Shaima's like, no, I can hook you up. And I'm gonna get you on Analogue Culture. And I'm like, really? She's like, yeah, don't worry, I'll hook you up, bro.
Yeah,
so thank you so much for the invite. I really appreciate it.
This has been a great conversation for me. I'm learning a lot from just hearing you speak about your passion on wanting to be on radio and being on TV and a lot, and the enthusiasm you have over the industry without having to say your focus is only on being rich, and you know.
Yep.
We need more characters like you in the industry, and I hope your radio career gets you to Kaya FM.
Yes, amen.
Where you
Amen.
want
We
to
speak
be.
life, and we're speaking it into existence, bro. Like Kaya FM is where I'm gonna be, and I'm gonna be a Netflix star very, very soon.
Yeah, can't wait for those things to hit.
Yeah, and then I'll be back on Analogue Culture and be like, yo, I made it, bro.
Of course, brother. But thank you very much for coming through and
Thank you,
sharing
sir.
your time with us on this beautiful Sunday. We're going to be checking you out today at Deep In It.
Yep. I'm actually nervous because it's gonna be my first time playing in Cape Town, and bro, I've seen videos of DJs playing in Cape Town, and the Cape Town scene is on another level. People here actually love music, and they're there for the music, you know.
Yeah.
So I think I'm gonna be judged on so many things later on, you know, your style, your playing, your selection, your mixing. I'm nervous. I'm nervous.
Don't worry. The one thing you should know about Cape Town is they truly appreciate music here.
Yep.
Yeah. So it's just gonna be that.
Yeah. Let's have fun.
All right, Taz. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, brother man.
All right. This is DJ Ndo-C for Analogue Culture. Have a lovely week further, month, year, and hashtag pa. Woo!